All right, and welcome to case study number 13 of this series, so brilliantly titled Kirk's 40 Case Study Closings. I'm your host, Ryan Kirk, and these case studies range from vacant lots to custom luxury homes and total $2,042,081.71 in profits and equity. Without having to personally go see the property on some, with no cash, no credit of my own, it varies, and I'll explain. And I do it all with Flip Logic and 1-888 cash offer. Now let's get into number 13 of the 40 case studies. And that brings us to 3864 3rd Avenue in Los Angeles. This is actually a property that's very close to USC. And you'll notice this image here. This is actually a street view screenshot. So that's the property there. This was a standard sale. You could have duplicated, or you can duplicate this lead type this lead origination by using the instant seller leads and running a Craigslist search. This came right out of Craigslist for sale by owner. And so again, Flip Logic can do that, and you can import it right in, and it makes the analysis and offer writing completely paperless and streamlined. The property condition was just cosmetic. Cosmetic being, it's still going to need new windows, flooring, paint, upgrade kitchen, baths. So roof was in good shape. And I think landscaping was in pretty good shape, as you can see there too. So this ended up running about middle of the road here in California, and frankly anywhere where your ARVs are in the upper, maybe in the upper end. When I say upper end, maybe above 250,000. You kind of will have to get a feel for your market through what your investor feedback is from their general contractors when they do the inspection. But middle of the road here, we estimate about $25, or in this case $28 a square foot. Our seller's motivation was he's elderly, and he was going to sell, relocate, and move wherever he was going to move. He was relocating. So that was how it broke down. ARV was supported at $600,000. Repairs again, $28 a foot, which came out to $48,000, and our purchase price that we got the seller to agree to was $428. They originally wanted, I believe it was $450, and we were able to get them down to $428, not by offering $428, but by asking what their bottom price would be, using the law of reciprocity, right? Mr. Seller, if we paid all cash, paid all closing costs. In this case, we offered to pay all closing costs, but then we renegotiated to split that 50-50 because of the higher purchase price. But if we paid all cash, paid all the closing costs, and closed in 14 days, what's the best price you could do? You'll notice it says 30 days, and that's because the seller wanted more time on their move out. So in this case, it wasn't so much speed for the seller in closing. They needed more flexibility and convenience with the longer closing time to allow themselves to, pack up and move out. So we had a 30-day close. Best price they could do, I think they were down, I don't recall, it was 450, 440s. We wanted to try to get it in the lower 400s. They wouldn't do it. We asked what's the best price you could do. We offered to come up to 420, and this is a good example here. They ended up getting a higher offer. I think it was at maybe it was 420, 425. And we said, well, if we were to beat that, and if we were to increase our offer to 428, is that a price you and I can agree upon to wrap this up now and move forward and open up escrow today? So language like that, to which the seller replied, yeah, if we were to beat out that other offer, then they would agree to move forward with us today, right? So that's why you have to ABC, always be closing, always be closing. So when you do price test, hey, we would need to be at 400 or 415. They say we have a higher offer at 425. That's when you need to go in for the close right then and there, because you can, through Flip Logic, you can see what the most you can pay and what most likely an investor would pay on a max rehab price. So that's when you can go in for the close and say, well, if we were to beat that, if I were to increase our offer to say 428, which would beat the other offer by 3,000, is that a number you and I can agree upon to move forward and open up escrow today? Wait for it. They say, yes, I would be open to that. Then you'd say, great, I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to have to write it up where our closing costs are 50-50 because of the increased price and because of how thin the deal is. To which they would say yes or no, right? In this case, we pushed for it and said, hey, we need to do that. Would that be all right with you? Yes, go ahead and do that. Okay, great. I'm going to send this over to you now. Please review it, e-sign it, and then send it back, and then we'll open up escrow today. So that's how that worked. We found an investor from our existing buyers list. So from our existing investor list, we just did a simple marketing blast, got our investors over there to go see the property. We did, in this case, have to be there to see it. We had to be there for those inspections when our investors went over there because it was owner occupied. And again, we didn't want our investors fraternizing, discussing terms with the seller. So in order to keep that arm's length, we had to be there. So that's one of the reasons why you'd have to go see the property in this case. So we went there. Investors went through there. They were willing to pay $445. So that was well and fine. And gosh, from the time that we got it, from when we marketed it, we had investors interested that same day. We had them over there, I think, the next day or the day after that. And then we had an assignment agreement signed and their deposit wired, before even 3 days was up on the 3 business days. So again, that's truly how you could do no cash, no credit, is by having your investor ready to wire their deposit before the deposit on your purchase contract is due, which is, as you've heard me mention it before, standard is 3 business days, and you could extend that out to say 5 business days, and that will typically run you into a weekend to where now you've got 7 calendar days to get an investor to agree on a non-contingent price, sign your assignment, wire his deposit, and then you will never had to put a dime out of your own pocket. So the funding that we used, again, was an assignment, and then they closed. Our investor closed all cash, and we got to net a dollar-for-dollar profit of $17,000 because, again, it was an assignment. When you sign a contract, you don't have any closing costs because all of those obligations and duties in that purchase agreement, including those closing costs, passes over to your investor, and then the difference between what you had it under contract for and what you assigned it for, that difference goes on the buyer's HUD as an assignment fee to you. So great way to do these deals with no cash, no credit, if you're wanting to just straight wholesale. So I hope that was helpful. Again, statistically, only 10% of YouTube videos are watched till the end. If you're in that 10%, you're a hustler, persistent, determined to succeed, and I do wish you much success. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you.